So when I was younger, my dad was a pastor. And every evening after dinner, usually we would do a little like family worship time in our living room. We would get out hymnals and we would sing. And then it started that he would tell a Bible story, I think. And then over time it kind of morphed into we would open the Bible and like actually read some of the text. And then discuss it. And occasionally he would have something else he wanted to talk about, and so we wouldn't open the Bible. I distinctly remember one of those days when he didn't have something specific he wanted to talk about. He just wanted to discuss something with us. He wanted to reprimand us for something. And I don't remember all of the details of it, but what it boiled down to is that he told us that as a family, we were selfish. It's not a nice feeling to have someone describe you as being selfish. I didn't like that, and it stuck with me. I mean, I still remember it, and it was 10 plus years ago. And that's kind of where I drew some of the inspiration for my chest tattoo. It's a tree. I went off to college, 2,500 miles away from where my parents lived, give or take. And when you do that, you have the ability to kind of recreate yourself, reinvent who you are, who you want to be, and that sort of thing. And I knew this little family worship thing stuck with me, and I remembered I don't want to be thought of as a selfish person. So I specifically made an effort to not be that way. I found a verse in the Bible that I wanted to model things off of, model my life off of. John 15:13. Greater love has no man than to lay down his life for his friends. And that's what I try to do. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to physically actually be dying for people. What I ended up doing was, you know, trying to be selfless and self-sacrificial in any way that I could. You know, it came across as lending a textbook to someone that I shared a class with, even if I hadn't done the assignment either, or you know, going out of my way to do things for someone else if it made their life easier or better, despite the impact that it had on mine. And I don't know if I succeeded in doing that. I don't know if any of the people that I know from college would consider me a selfless person or not. But I knew that I was making an effort, and I knew that, you know, whatever my dad had said, I was going to try to make sure that it couldn't be said about me anymore. Wow. All right. Look at this. Yeah. Look at that root base. All right. The thing about going to college away from home, that far away from home, is the people that knew you when you were younger don't know who you are now. And so despite whatever effort I put in, my family would not know what kind of person I was, or what kind of person I was trying to be. And so there's a day in 2017, I came home from a pretty rough day at work. I don't even know if it was at work. I just came home from a pretty rough day. And I walked into my house and a couple of my siblings were there hanging out, which was not abnormal. And one of them made a comment, I don't remember the exact comment, comparing me to House, Dr. House or something. But I don't remember the exact comment. And it prompted me, well, it made me realize that, like, you know, this was 2017. I left home in 2010. So it made me realize that the last 7 years are not something that they really knew about. They knew me from when I was 17, you know, when I was 18, not when I was 24, 25. And I knew that I was a far different person than I was when I was 17, as most people are. You know, that's the thing about college years, is they're very formative. And you know, you can define the kind of person you want to be. And so my sibling made this comment, and I almost immediately left the house. I had the tattoo idea in mind, and I knew what I was going to do, and I knew where I was going to go. I didn't know the artist specifically, but I had the thing in mind, and I went that day, left my house, and drove straight to the shop. And as the guy was tattooing me, we talked, as you do when someone's driving a needle into your skin for a couple of hours. And what we ended up talking about was just why I was getting the tattoo, why I wanted it, you know, that sort of stuff. And he, you know, was sitting there listening and tattooing and interested in what I had to say. But, you know, he didn't speak much while he was working. And then at the end, the tattoo was finished. He finished the tattoo, and he made a comment to me. He said, you know, really appreciated, said something along the lines of, I really appreciated this conversation. I really liked, you know, talking to you. I liked hearing about what, you know, your reasoning behind getting this tattoo. And then he said, it's inspired me to start going back to Alcoholics Anonymous, that I'd stopped going to for months. And then he said, and I think I'm going to reach out to my son that I haven't talked to in almost a year. And that's what it came down to, is, you know, years of working on myself and trying to make myself more selfless. And then I get to a point where, you know, just explaining my story and my process and my thoughts about this particular tattoo inspired someone to try to re-establish a relationship that they had broken. Yeah. So that's the story of that tattoo. Ultimately, comes down to love is sacrifice. And, you know, what greater sacrifice can you have than literally laying down your life for someone, and as Christ did for us when he was crucified. And so my choice was to make have something that represented that, a tree, a dead tree at that, you know, tattooed over my heart. I need to go get some more dirt.